Hi friends, Kelly here, and it is officially the holiday season, which means it's time for holiday commissions. So I want to take a moment to go through my experience with 5 years of commissions under my belt as a visual artist. And although my experience is specific towards visual art, I hope that all of my tips and tricks and recommendations for creating your holiday commissions are useful to everybody who's in any kind of artist. Whatever thing that you make, you can sell it during the holiday season. So let's go through the basics of how to start your holiday commissions and some tips and tricks to help you boost your sales. You may be wondering if commissions are right for you. If you haven't started them yet, you might be wondering, oh, do I have the skill level? Do I have the following? Do I have what it takes to start doing commissions? And in my personal opinion, if you have a desire to start commissions, then you're ready. It doesn't matter what your skill level is or what your followers count are, because chances are you have a friend or a relative who would love to get a commission from you. And I personally think that people of all skill levels are usually supported by someone. And so even if you might have a smaller pool and might only do a couple commissions, that's still going to be really good practice. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you're going to, gain some confidence and some skills in customer service that I think is really, really helpful for everybody. So I don't think there's a specific level where you should start. You should just start when you are excited about doing commissions. Just know that going into commissions for the first time, what you're going to be making is probably a lot more boring than the stuff you want to make for yourself. You also have to listen and adhere to your client's needs, and that can just make the whole process a little more taxing than just drawing for yourself. And remember that you don't have to make a ton of money off of it for it to still be successful. Your art is valuable whether or not you make money off of it. So now that you've decided to do commissions, your next task is to decide what kind of commissions you're going to make. Are you going to customize cutting boards? Are you going to make jewelry? Are you going to draw houses? Be specific about what medium you're going to choose and what subjects you're going to use as well. It's also helpful to choose a specific size of canvas that you're working with, whether you're digital or traditional, and focus on maybe just one medium for now. Do either traditional or digital or clay or whatever you're doing. Focus on one thing. When you're starting out with commissions, it's just much easier to focus on one type of commission. Don't be doing pet portraits and family portraits and character illustrations. Just choose one thing. For example, let's say you are a potter. Maybe you're just going to sell mugs, but you'll put people's names in them. That's a great way to really sell one specific thing, and your audience isn't going to get confused. If you're a digital artist, maybe you'll say, oh, I'm going to draw D&D characters, so I will draw all of your favorite D&D characters. But I will say, as a visual artist, my best experience is usually through drawing family portraits or couple portraits. It's really fun for people to have a drawing of them. So now you've got your one medium, your one topic, your one size, you know exactly what you're selling. And whether that's a customizable mug or a family portrait, you know everything there is to know about making that specific thing. So now would be a great time to practice. This will let you know how long it actually takes you to complete a commission, and it will give you some great examples for when you share online that you're opening commissions. Also, notice what materials you use and how much of them you use. It's possible that it takes a lot of money to create the object or commission that you're making, and so keep that in mind for our next step. Okay, you know exactly what you're commissioning and you've made some examples. Now is the hardest part: how to price your commissions. The first thing to keep in mind is that when you're starting out commissions, it's gonna be a low price. That's just how it's gonna be. And I do recommend you keeping it low, even if you know that you are worth more. I know that's hard to hear, but really at first, you're just trying to gain experience. You're trying to gain examples. You're trying to gain clients who can then recommend you to people. So with that in mind, start by seeing what other artists in your field are pricing their commissions at. If there are not a lot of people in your field making commissions, like maybe you can look at just what are they selling. That's another good point. So let's say you are a potter and you're making mugs, but you're not seeing a lot of people selling customized mugs. Maybe you just see, oh, this potter is selling this bowl at $15 or whatnot. And then you might take that idea and add to it, because you're not just selling the object, you're selling the customizable piece. So know that your customization is worth more than just a drawing or just a mug. So because it's specific to the client. Also be aware that some people of a higher follower count or a higher skill level may be pricing their commissions more. For example, I follow Anthony Holden. He sells his commissions like hundreds of dollars. I, of course, am not doing that because I am not him. So just be aware when you're looking at other people's commission prices that it's not always accurate, and they might be really, really lowballing their own abilities. So it's a good place to start to kind of see what the market is at. But I find that often it's such a huge dynamic between costs that it's not going to be like you have to do the price that everyone else is doing. If you've sold pieces before, even if they're not commissions, note how much you sold them for, and then maybe you want to go with that price plus a little extra because it is a commission. That's another way you can kind of go about it. Again, factor in how long it took you to complete the process. With a commission, it's going to take you at least double the time because you're going to have to make changes depending on what you're doing. Know how much materials you're using, how much money you're spending on the materials. And then, like, do you have corrections? Are you going to offer the client corrections? Know how many corrections you're going to offer, and know that if they have to have more and more corrections, then you can raise the price. With those price adjustments, like with additional corrections, you might also think of, are you adding a background? That might be an additional add-on price. Are you adding multiple subjects to your piece? Are you doing different styles? Those might all be different add-on prices that you want to make sure you are showing the client. If you have to mail your commission, make sure you're adding that price on as well. And I am not a tax expert, so make sure you know what the sales tax is in your state, depending on digital or physical objects. Just be aware of that, and your income tax as well, because, well, it's still income. I know these are very broad questions and make the pricing very ambiguous, but it's so specific to every medium, to every person, and you won't know necessarily how big your audience is for commissions until you offer them, because you might have a huge following but not a lot of people want commissions, or you might have a very small following and everyone wants a commission. So just be aware that you will be adjusting your price every time you open commissions. I know I do. That just helps you keep on track of things and adjust what the supply and demand is. I mean, I've done commissions that are $15 and I've done commissions that are $400. So there's such a wide range depending on what you're making and depending on who the client is. The next step is to advertise your commissions, to let people know that your commissions are open. You're gonna want to have really good examples of the commissions completed, like you've hopefully already done. And you're gonna want to make a post that has all of the information easily accessible. You're gonna wanna put the price of the commission, the price of all the add-ons, if corrections are available, if this is for personal or commercial use. I would recommend personal use only if you're beginning. And I would also put whatever process you have for taking requests. As in, you might have a Google form that they can fill out. You might say, email me here, or you might just want a DM message in order to hear what people are wanting. Here are some examples of a commission post I made many years ago, and this just offers some different examples of what I could do within the family portrait realm, digital realm, and then some additional pricing and just some caveats. For example, I have the additional charges laid out here, an extra $20 per additional character, including animals, an extra $30 to $50 for detailed backgrounds, and an additional $10 for additional drafts on major changes. I have one draft for free. In this post, I also give very clear instructions on how I want them to communicate with me to grab their commission slot. I tell them to email me with their reference photos. Their payment must be completed before they're added to the list. And for me, it's a first come, first serve basis most of the time. And I give a broad deadline, like they will all be finished before Christmas. But I will not let them know exactly when that is. For example, this one specifically says, commission slots are completed in the order they received. Illustrations are for personal use only. Commissions will be completed at the latest by May 4th, 2020. So it gives them a broad idea of when they might receive a commission once they put in a slot, so that they are not badgering me until I'm ready to start their commission. I also state that I have one draft free, and then any other additional drafts and major changes are $10. I have had people who suddenly want to add more characters and more detailed backgrounds and keep changing things and keep adding things, and I will bill them for that. Now that you have your images to share, make sure you share that all over your social media. I would say you don't need to post like every single day about it, but you can give people reminders if you are not filling up your commission slots. Commission slots are a good thing to recognize as well. Make sure you know how many you can complete within the designated time, so you're not overbooking yourself. I would start with less than you think you could do, because it's going to take longer than you think, because your clients are going to have to get back to you, and half of the job is just communicating with clients. If you have an email list, this is a great time to use it. Make sure you share with your email list fans, and talk about it to your friends and family as well. At this time, it would be great to have a commissions closed post ready to go as well, because you never know how fast your commissions will fill up. Great, you now have a ton of people asking for commissions, and you don't even know where to start. So here are the questions you should ask your clients. Again, you can put this in a Google form, or you can just ask them via whatever messaging service you're using. But I like a Google form because it keeps things nice and organized, and I can go back to look at it really easily later. Make sure you know exactly what they want for their order, how many subjects they want, etc., so you know how much to quote them. You have to make sure you give them a specific dollar amount and where to pay you, and they should pay you before you do any work on it. That's just the way I operate. I will not start any commission until they pay me, because that's time that is worth money, and it also helps me figure out who's going first in my list of commissions. It's not in whatever order they talk to me, it's in whatever order they pay me. And then I will finish their commission first. And I only go one commission at a time. I'm not trying to do 5 at a time. I completely finish one and then go to the next. But that's how I work. So make sure you're just being very organized, and make sure you communicate efficiently. Again, that's half the job, is communicating with clients. Which leads me to another point, I highly recommend you communicate via email and not through your instant messages. It is so much easier to keep track of your client conversations via email than it is sifting through your DMs all the time. It's much easier to go back and look at things, and it's also easier to send them pictures, send them updates, and send them their final piece if you're doing digitally. So you know what they need, they have a quote, they've paid you. You're also gonna need reference photos. If you need them, make sure you make that very clear. And then you're just gonna need to make sure you're communicating with them about when they should expect to see an update or to see your final piece. They want to be reassured that you're working on it. Just make sure you're giving them dates and times that are further in advance than you think it's actually going to take you. If you think it's going to take you a week to give them a draft, make it a week and a half, because you never know what's going to happen in your life that might make it take longer. And if you set the expectation for them to be later, then if you give them a commission update early, they're going to be happy instead of, oops, the commission update is 2 days late and they keep badgering me about it. So make sure you're very respectful of their time and give them some more understandable timeline dates. Once your commissions are closed, I also recommend going back and deleting all of your commission posts. All of the commissions are open now, here's how much they are. Delete them all, delete them all. I do this because I don't want the prices of my commissions out in the open all the time, because I change my commission prices quite frequently, and that's just depending on the season, how busy I am, and ultimately how much it's going to take for me to step away from my personal work. So it's just easier to delete them all rather than hear clients ask about a price change. So just make it not as easily findable. Now you just need to finish your commission. You can finally work on your commission. Just make sure you're going in the order that you specified and that you're staying within the deadlines you've given your clients. If you are allowing corrections, I also recommend to make sure the sketch is exactly what they're looking for before you do the completed work, because going back and changing things after doing the final line work and after doing the final coloring is so much harder than if you just make it clear beforehand. Again, do not be afraid to charge extra if they're asking for a lot of changes. Just make sure you're communicating about it very clearly. For example, you can say, any more changes will result in a $5 fee per change. Or you could say, I'm happy to add another cat to the illustration for a $10 charge. Another recommendation is be careful not to spend all of your time on your personal projects. You are now in commission mode, and you should work on your paid pieces before you go on to work on your personal pieces. I know that's really hard, and sometimes you might want a break and want to work on your personal stuff, but I find that I just don't even touch my personal work until I'm done with commissions. If you are working digitally, I recommend keeping the files for at least a year, just in case they need it to be sent to them again, but just let them know when you send the final that you will not have it after a year. Also, this is another great opportunity to take lots of pictures and video of your process. Be sure not to post it until you've had the client's permission, but keep these on record, keep these on file so that you can share your work with everyone else, and you'll have good examples for the next time you open commissions. Also, be sure to ask your clients when you're finished what their feedback is for you. Not only is that constructive to help you be a better customer service representative, but also it can help boost your own sales if you put their feedback in your promotions. And of course, I have yet to have to do this, but just be ready to offer a refund if they're unhappy for some crazy reason. I find most people who want to buy commissions are very excited to do so and love the work you're doing. But if you do have to be ready to offer a refund, just be sure you're not spending any of the money you've received until you've sent the completed product and they're happy with it. So now that you've finished your commissions, you've sent them off, and everyone's happy with their product, it's a great time to make sure you're noticing what worked for you and what didn't work for you. Was your price fair? Did you run out of commission slots quickly? Were you really drained and was working too hard? Notice all of these things and notice what worked for your clients and what worked for you. Maybe you want to add some other offerings next time you open commissions. Maybe you want to tone it down and just focus on a couple things. Maybe you want to do less commission slots if it was too much. Overall, just make sure you're asking, was it worth it for you? Was the time and energy and effort worth being able to be a part of someone's gift or holiday season? Was it worth the price? And either change the price or you don't have to do commissions. Just make sure you're giving yourself time to rest in between commission openings, and make sure you're spending time working on your own pieces in between. I really hope that was helpful talking about commissions and where to start. If you have any other suggestions for people out there, please leave a comment down below. Or if you have any specific questions about your commissions, let me know. I'd be happy to answer them in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic holiday season, and please like and subscribe so we can talk more about art and our creative journeys together. So happy holidays.